Hello, and welcome to Your Vote Counts, a public informational, nonpartisan service program designed to get the public acquainted with the candidates vying for the 2024 primary election local races, including Salem Mayor, Salem City Council, Marion County Commissioner, and Polk County Commissioner. These interviews come to you through the producers at Capital Community Media. Collaboration on questions and moderators from the Association of University Women and the League of Women Voters of Marion and Polk Counties. All candidates for these races were invited, and all but one chose to participate. Candidates did not receive the questions ahead of time. Candidates were asked to prepare a 2-minute opening statement addressing their background and qualifications for the office, as well as 2-minute closing remarks. My name is Toma Cadu with the League of Women Voters of Marion and Polk Counties, and I'd like to introduce Danielle Bethell, who is running for Marion County Commissioner, position number 3. Welcome, candidate Bethell.
Thank you.
We look forward to your opening remarks.
Well, thank you so much. I'm excited to be here and have the opportunity to share about myself and answer the questions of the public. I have been serving as a Marion County Commissioner since January of 2021, and it's a big job. I have a family of my own. In fact, just a couple years ago, I bought a farm out in the Staten area, leveled up into a dream I've always had, and I have lots of chickens. And I've become a grandmother since I've been elected to office. So my personal life is very busy, and it gives me a focus to understand what livability should be and what I would want it to be in a community that I'm raising this family in throughout the work that I do as a commissioner. Previous to being a county commissioner, I was the director of the Kaiser Chamber of Commerce. I have background in state policy. I worked for the Public Utility Commission, the Oregon Disabilities Commission, did lots of advocating at the Capitol for citizens across the state, and frankly just believe that public service should come from your heart, and it's something that I believe we should all try to do at some point in our life. So I look forward to the questions today.
Wonderful. Thank you for that background information, and let's give you an opportunity to address some of our questions. The first question we have is, what issues are unique to Marion County, and which of these do you see as priorities for the commissioners, and why?
Oh gosh. Well, currently I serve in the role as president for the Association of Oregon Counties, so I have a pretty unique look into every county in Oregon right now in the work that I'm doing for AOC. In Marion County specifically, the things that we're tackling, I wouldn't say are necessarily overly unique to us, because we see a statewide issue with homelessness, with addiction, with poverty, with folks really kind of being more forward, interested in the government supporting them instead of them being independent on their own, kind of just living life. We have issues that are replicated across the state in every county, but for Marion County, because we're the 5th largest county in the state, our issues are bigger. We have a larger homeless population than most of the counties in Oregon. We are the #1 producing agriculture county in the state of Oregon, which means we produce the food for the people that live in not just our state, but the country. We have very restrictive land use policy here in Oregon. Specifically because of Marion County, we have the most amount of exclusive farm use property in Marion County that causes us additional burden when it comes to development and growth, specifically around residential communities. Oh my gosh, I guess we do have a lot of unique things to Marion County as I kind of get into it. Marion County is the only county in the state that has a waste-to-energy facility where we send all of our solid waste. That's in the North County area. And we're currently looking at, what does that system look like? And if we have to pivot away from that, what does Marion County look like in the solid waste stream? And what does that mean to the curb or the people who put their trash out? We're a pretty unique county, I suppose, in the fact that we have some of the most valuable, precious assets that are the most important to humanity coming straight out of our county. So as a commissioner, every decision that I make has to look at various systems of chains to make sure that, if you will, the buses are running on time in all of those systems, and that we're protecting our environment, our EFU, our farmland. We're taking care of our citizens and the large population that we have. We're also a large farm worker population, so we have a lot of individuals in our community that have unique needs. They are learning to interact in the culture here in the United States of America, specifically here in Oregon. How do you get acclimated to a system that's so big if you're coming here from a different country that you probably didn't have a lot of interaction with when you were there? Marion County it's robust.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
What is the county doing to ensure emergency preparedness? What still needs to be done?
Oh gosh, that's a great question. Thank you for asking. So we recently we've had an emergency manager for quite some time, and we had a great emergency manager during the 2020 Labor Day wildfires that we experienced at the Santiam Canyon that led us to an awareness that we have a lot of work to do in Marion County to make sure our citizens and neighbors are capable of personal response. The government is very costly, and it will never be robust enough to make sure every single person is taken care of in any type of natural disaster. But what we can do is we can put systems in place to help individuals be prepared. So our current emergency manager, his name is Greg Walsh. In fact, we hired him from the city of Salem over a year ago. He is working with our team in the county on preparing certain types of videos to help individuals educate themselves on how to use a generator. What is a generator? What type of a generator is out there? Because there's various types of generators. You'd be surprised the number of people that didn't know how to use a generator during the 2021 ice storm. Mm-hmm. And Marion County was the epicenter of that ice storm. We had residents in Marion County during that ice storm that went without power for more than 15 days. Mm-hmm. We also experienced a fair amount of emergency response because folks in the densified urban areas that needed access to power went out and purchased a type of generator and didn't realize that it produced certain types of toxins. They put it in their garage. Then that would affect them in their home because it's a toxic air that they're breathing in. Or they were running extension cords from house to house, and that was creating fire challenges. So we've taken experiences that we've lived through and realized that these skills are not taught in schools. Mm-hmm. We do not teach people basic life skills in a K-12 situation or even in college. So we have to take it upon ourselves to find information, develop a resource, and make it as available as possible for a citizen to be able to educate themselves and then be available to answer their questions so they can set themselves up for success. In addition to that, we learned a lot, as I said, from that wildfire in the canyon. One of the things that we learned is we have very vulnerable populations all over the county. Mm-hmm. Seniors, people with disabilities, people without transportation, people living in communities without public transportation. And because we don't have large, robust emergency response systems in most of rural Marion County, we're mapping where people are. That way, when an issue comes about, we're able to go find them, notify them, and help them evacuate. And in some cases, deploy tools to help them do the evacuation. An example would be up in the Mahama Lions area, which is up the Santiam Canyon. We have some individuals who live in adult foster homes, and transportation was a barrier for them to be able to evacuate the wildfire zone when they went to a level 3 evacuation. Thankfully, because the community is so close-knit, the public knew about that particular home, and they were able to notify the sheriff. But now we are developing a system to where we can look ourselves. The sheriff's office, who runs emergency evacuations, can look into a system and say, here's where we need to deploy those resources right now to make sure those individuals are taken care of.
Marion County faces numerous challenges. Of those challenges, which do you believe are not being addressed or need a different approach?
I would say that everything is being looked at in Marion County that we're aware of that exists as an issue, but some issues rise to the level of priority that are getting more attention than others. Marion County, the Board of Commissioners is a very collaborative body. There's 20 cities in Marion County. Most people don't know that. 20 incorporated cities, which means there's 20 city councils in Marion County. So we have the opportunity to be able to organize ourselves in our priority with other elected officials by having frequent and robust conversations about community-wide needs. I would say one of the areas that's getting attention that needs more attention is the solid waste system. We have a very unique system here in Marion County, as I mentioned before, by having the waste to energy facility. But we also have a unique situation here where we have a contract that prevents haulers from just coming into the community and setting up shop. We control the contracts and the haulers that can come into our community, which means we have the ability to leverage them to invest in more work. So one of the areas that I'm interested right now in our haulers and our community doing more work on is the reducing of access to things to reduce the amount of waste that we put into our waste stream. In fact, we just talked about this earlier last week as a Board of Commissioners. When I was a kid, I grew up with 3 R's, the reduce, reuse, recycle. We really need to get back into the mindset of educating individuals on what the solid waste system looks like and what the harm to the community and the environment is, and in Marion County what that means. I can't just go site a landfill in Marion County because we have such valuable soil here. Nobody wants me to do that, but people don't stop using, which creates this a large amount of waste that I have to figure out what to do with. So one of the biggest priorities that I think we need to really shift our time and attention to is educating the public on what it means to go to the store and just buy at will without being mindful of what's going to happen when you're finished with that purchase.
Thank you for that. What is the financial support for mental health services in Marion County? And is there any new funding on the horizon?
That's a great question. I can't give you what the exact budget amount is, but it is one of our largest funded agencies, our behavioral health department in the Marion County health system. Behavioral health is addiction health and mental health, and it has to be a system of care that is looked at together today. We no longer have individuals entering the doors of our service system with just one diagnosis. You can go out into just about any urban city and see somebody failing out onto the street that appears to have a mental illness, but currently likely has a substance use disorder. And one led to the other and vice versa at some point. I wish there was more money. The state of Oregon, through the Oregon Health Authority, funds the behavioral health system in every county in the state. And they underfund it substantially, and they have for decades. Just as a number I do know off the top of my head, the state of Oregon has underfunded prevention care by $750 million a year historically for the last 14 years. So it's difficult for us to be able to get ahead of things when we don't have the ability to afford the employees, the outreach, and the real targeted approach to say, hey, how do we take care of this substance? How do we, eliminate whatever this disease might be? We advocate for it regularly. In fact, I'm working on a bill right now with Representative Anderson and Representative Deal in the legislature to lower the threshold for civil commitment so that way we can have the state do its responsibility, which is helping our most vulnerable population stabilize, so then I can do my job as the local mental health authority and help them be successful in a healthy, peaceful environment in Marion County.
Thank you. We've spoken a little bit, or you have, about waste management. What do you think are the challenges to solid waste management that you might not have already addressed? And how has the contract with Covanta changed?
So the things that have changed about solid waste, just since I've become a commissioner, I've gained a lot of information and awareness on it, is, again, people need to use less. And we need to be potentially taking a regional approach at what this looks like. more often than not, counties take a one-by-one approach at dealing with their solid waste management system. And certain counties have certain assets in our community. We have the burner, or the waste energy facility. Benton County has, in Adair Village, they have what I call Trash Mountain, where all the haulers take their solid waste and dump it into this giant pit. The Cavanta contract has only changed in the fact that it's more regulated. The legislature passed a bill in 2023 that requires the Department of Environmental Quality to do a more concentrated look at their emissions and what's coming in and how it's coming in. And myself and my peers took a very assertive approach in telling them what they could and couldn't burn here in Marion County and how much of that they could and couldn't burn here.
Thank you for answering our questions today. We appreciate it. Now it's time for you to share a 2-minute closing remarks about your goals for office, if elected, and whatever other remarks you might want to share with us.
Thank you. So 4 years flew by. It went faster than I expected it to, and some days felt like a year. Being a county commissioner is one of the biggest, most important jobs that we have in local government. And I would say that over the next 4 years, if reelected, I will continue to do the biggest output I would say we've seen in the behavioral health system of care in Marion County in a very long time. I have personal experience growing up in this system of care here in Marion County and seeing the difficulties that our residents have in accessing services. Instead of moving the "we're open" sign or the doorway constantly, hoping to find people where they are, I'm looking to stabilize a system and prioritize the services that we provide for Marion County residents based on the current need. Meaning we have to be flexible, we have to be nimble, and we have to be very present in our community to know what the needs are. I'm already doing a fair amount of this work. It takes a while to get on your feet as a county commissioner. But I'm in the thick of a lot of really good work, and I'm excited to bring it online and into real fruition so people can see what real healthy livability looks like being a resident here in Marion County.
Thank you, Danielle Bethell, for our interview today and for sharing all your thoughts.
Thank you for having me.
And thanks to Capital Community Media for their extensive technology and producer skills used to create this program. And thanks also to the League of Women Voters of Marion and Polk Counties for the design and preparation of this program. And thanks to you, the public, for watching in order to become a more informed voter. For more local, state, and national, nonpartisan voter information on candidates and ballot issues, visit vote411.org. after April 15th, when candidate data will be posted. You have till April 30th to register or to change your registration in any way. Ballots will be mailed on May 1st and will be accepted if postmarked before or on May 21st. Elections matter. Remember to vote because your vote counts.